Welcome back everyone, and in this video, we're going to take a look at 4 growth stocks that Mark Cuban owns in his portfolio. He's a billionaire entrepreneur, owner of the Dallas Mavericks, and star of the famous show Shark Tank. And right now, he has an estimated net worth of over $4.5 billion. And although Cuban does not display his entire portfolio publicly, in various interviews over the past year, he has discussed the companies that he's heavily invested in and plans to hold for the long term. And during the pandemic crash, back in March 2020, Cuban made 2 big purchases, and we'll discuss those later on in the video. And before we jump into his first holding, I'm going to ask you to please hit that like button and subscribe. I am the Gen Z investor, and every single day we talk about the stock market, going over different stocks you can buy or any major market news. So please hit that like button, subscribe for the daily videos. And today we're going to focus on 4 companies that Mark Cuban owns in his personal stock portfolio. And if we jump straight in to company number 1, we have Netflix, ticker NFLX, and they currently trade for $503 per share. And over the trailing 12 months, the company has grown by over 45%, and they have a current market cap at $237 billion. And they are the largest content streaming platform in the world, and they currently surpassed over 200 million paid subscribers, which is absolutely huge, and their international market is seeing a major boost. And the pandemic actually did wonders for Netflix's business, because when consumers are forced to stay home, they rely on services like Netflix for their daily entertainment. And Mark Cuban has been a big believer in this company over the past few years, and he started buying shares at around the $50 level. So right now, as they trade for $500, he's more than 10x'd his initial investment. And he plans to continue to hold for the long term and is sticking with the companies that he truly believes in. And going forward, I think Netflix will remain a top player in the streaming world because they have such a strong devotion to always releasing new content on their platform every single week for their members. And in 2021, they're releasing a major movie every single week of the year. So no matter what, if you own a Netflix account, you're always going to be getting fresh content to keep you entertained and always wanting more. And with these big streaming services, whoever can deliver the most content on a consistent basis is going to be a long-term winner in the space. And I think Netflix has done a great job over the past few years, and that's only going to grow going forward. And recently, Netflix shared some amazing financial news that the company is expecting to be cash flow positive after 2021 and will no longer rely solely on outside financing to fund their operations. And after they do become cash flow positive, they will be considering doing some share buybacks to return some capital to their investors over the next few years, which is a great sign for current Netflix shareholders. And now if we take a quick look at their income statement, we can see that total revenue continues to grow year over year to a record high of around $25 billion in 2020. And their net income is also on a similar trend, growing year over year as well, reaching a high of $2.7 billion over the trailing 12 months. And going forward, analysts are projecting 20% revenue growth this year, and for next year, we're projecting another 15% revenue growth, and their total sales will cross over $34 billion. And for the next 5 years in the future, Wall Street is projecting 44% annual growth in Netflix's share price. So going forward, we're still projecting a lot of growth for this major company, and Mark Cuban is still holding long term. It's one of his largest positions, and I'm expecting Netflix to continue to expand their operations, and I would not be surprised that if over the next 3 to 5 years, we see this company grow and achieve a $500 billion market cap. And now we're going to continue on into stock number 2, and that is Amazon, ticker AMZN, and they currently trade for over $3,000, and this is by far the largest holding in Mark Cuban's portfolio, and he is extremely bullish on Amazon over the long term. And he's been a buyer of this company way back since it was $500 per share, and he continues to add even up to the point when the company was trading at $2,000. And back in September of 2019, he said that he owns close to $1 billion worth of Amazon stock, And back then, the company's share price was sitting right around $1,700 per share. So from that level all the way up to where we are today, Mark Cuban's $1 billion position has grown over 76%. So he's quickly approaching a total of a $2 billion position in the e-commerce giant. And right now, over the trailing 12 months, Amazon has been on a slight decline from their high they set back all the way in September of 2020. And we can see from that level, they are now down over 13%. So trading somewhat sideways over the past few months. But going forward, this is by far the leader in the e-commerce sector, and they're expanding into a ton of different markets, and this is going to be a large company for decades in the future. And Amazon has recently shared an amazing news announcement that the company has finalized the deal with the NFL. For $1 billion per year, they will get the exclusive rights to Thursday Night Football. And this is an 11-year deal, and I love that Amazon wanted to expand into this area, and I think it's going to really open up their services and get them in front of eyes of different consumers who may not be frequent shoppers or users of Amazon's current products. And this company does way more than just e-commerce. And if we take a look at a breakdown of their revenue, when people think about Amazon, right away, they just think of the online e-commerce platform where you can buy goods and get them delivered on the next day. But right now, their online stores do generate 163 billion of total revenue, but it only makes up half of the company's total sales. They've also generated 40 billion from their Amazon Web Services, which make up around 12.4%, and they have big competitors with Google Cloud and Microsoft Azure. And some of their other main business segments include third-party selling services. They also have their subscriptions, their physical stores, and Amazon is the owner of Whole Foods, and also an other category, which makes up only 5% of their total revenue, and that comes through ad revenue and their co-branded credit cards. So we can see that Amazon has done an amazing job of expanding their operations, and they generate tens of billions of dollars from many different revenue streams. And if we take a look at their income statement, each and every year, their total revenue continues to climb to record highs, and in the trailing 12 months, they've generated over 386 billion of total revenue, which is absolutely incredible. And recently, the company has also started to focus on their net income, and in the trailing 12 months, they've generated over 21 billion of total profits. And we can see over the next 2 years in the future, analysts are forecasting another 23% total sales growth in the 2021 fiscal year, followed by over 17% revenue growth by year-end 2022, where the company is projected to have total revenue of $557 billion. And I believe if they can achieve these numbers, we're going to see Amazon expand to a much higher level. And for the next 5 years in the future, the total share price is projected to grow at 37% per year, each and every year going forward. And right now, the company is considered a strong buy, coming in at a 1.6, and the current share price of $3,000 per share is well below the 12-month price target, coming in at $4,000. So that indicates more than 30% upside over the next 12 months in Amazon stock. And we can see by far one of the best companies in the world. They have a current market cap at 1.58 trillion, and I think going forward, this company will only continue to expand. It is the largest position in Mark Cuban's portfolio, and the two companies that we've already gone over in Netflix and Amazon are his two top holdings, and he believes that both names have an amazing opportunity to use the power of artificial intelligence to really grow their business. And he says they're going to use them in so many different ways that people don't even understand right now. And over the next few years, as Mark continues to own this position, I believe he will see it grow to be worth over $3, $4, or even $5 billion over the next decade. And now we're going to move on into stock number 3, and this was actually one of the two companies that Cuban bought during the major crash we saw in February and March 2020. And the first company that we're going to go over is Twitter, ticker TWTR, and Cuban bought the company because he believes there was going to be a sustainable boost in the company's daily active volume. And at this current level, Twitter currently trades for $61, and from their high point at the beginning of March 2021 of $77 per share, the company has now fallen over 21% and is now trading at a much more attractive level. And although Twitter is a main social media platform, the company is still very small relative to their peers in Facebook and Instagram. And over the next few years, the company has very strong plans to expand their product mix, offer new services, and actually increase their revenue generating activities. And I'm really excited for the future of Twitter and how the company's planning to grow. And we can see in the fourth quarter of 2020, they actually posted some very strong results. And revenue came in at $1.29 billion, which was up 28% year over year. And they had operating income of $250 million in the quarter, which again saw a major increase over the Q4 2019 number. And what I believe to be the most attractive stat is the fact that the company grew their average monetizable daily active users to a total of 192 million in Q4, which is absolutely insane, and that grew 27% year over year and was up 5 million from the previous quarter. And if we take a look at this company with a longer term perspective and jump into their income statement, back in 2016, they generated total revenue at around 2.5 billion, but then in the trailing 12 months, that has grown to 3.7 billion throughout a global pandemic. So they were actually able to increase their sales during a period in time when many big companies were actually cutting back on their advertising spending. So it really shows that even through tough economic situations, Twitter is a platform that can sustain these tough times and continue to grow their revenue and sales growth each and every year. And going forward, I actually think Mark Cuban is right that Twitter is a platform that has a lot of upside over the next few years, and if they can achieve true profitability, this company may be trading at a much higher level compared to where they are today. And for the next 2 years in the future, analysts are forecasting 29% total revenue growth in 2020 to around 4.8 billion, followed by another 21% in 2022 and reach a record high of $5.8 billion. And with regard to total share price growth, analysts are actually kind of bearish and are only projecting around 0.5% per year growth for the next 5 years. But I really don't agree with that. And I think if they can achieve these revenue numbers, we will see Twitter stock sitting at a much higher level than where they are today. So this was the company that Cuban picked in the social media space. He believes they will continue to deliver growth with their average daily volume, and over the long term, Twitter will remain a staple in our social media lives. And now we're going to move on into the fourth and final company in this video, and this is one of the stocks that Cuban bought during the pandemic crash back in 2020, and that is ticker LYV, Live Nation Entertainment. The company currently trades for around $83 per share, and they are one of the leaders in the entertainment and concert industry. So of course, throughout 2020, when large gatherings were banned all across the world, concerts took a major hit and were really non-existent over the past year. And when the company's share price went through a major crash of over 40%, Cuban started to build up his position. And he believes that after the pandemic is over, individuals will want to go back to concerts, stadiums will be filled, and this company will see a massive rebound in their total revenue. And right now, over their latest quarter, Live Nation Entertainment shared some very strong news. 83% of their fans are holding on to their concert tickets, and 63% are holding on to their festival tickets. So there's a lot of people who still have hope that over the shorter term, in the next 6, 12, 24 months, we will return to concerts at a large scale. And for 2022, twice as many top artists are planning a full tour. So the performers are very eager to get back on stage, and consumers are willing to fill up the stands, and right now, that leads to a very strong sign of a massive recovery for Live Nation's total revenue. And if we take a look at the company's income statement, before the pandemic, total revenue was growing at a very nice rate year over year, and they reached a high of over 11.5 billion of total sales in 2019, but then 2020 happened, and that dropped down to only 1.8 billion, which is absolutely insane. But going forward, over the next 2 years, analysts are projecting a big recovery, and in the current year of 2021, we're projecting total sales to grow 200% and reach a total of 5.6 billion, and then by 2022, they're forecasting another 113% growth and total sales to cross 12 billion, which would actually be a record high for the company. So Wall Street is projecting an only 2-year timeline for Live Nation to recover and surpass their pre-pandemic sales set back in 2019. And for the next 5 years in the future, analysts are showing 80% per year expected growth, which would be absolutely insane. So this company is one of the top entertainment brands. They generated over $11.5 billion of total sales before the pandemic, and then of course 2020 hit and that got completely wiped out. Cuban bought more during the dip, and he believes that once concerts are allowed to happen, performers all across the country will have packed stadiums, and this company will see continuous revenue growth. And I believe if they can recover from the $1.8 billion of total sales in the trailing 12 months and actually achieve the $12 billion estimate by year end 2022, the company's share price will be much, much higher than where it is today. So a very interesting holding in Cuban's portfolio, and that was the fourth and final company we're going to discuss in this video. So thank you for watching to the end, and overall, we took a look at Netflix, Amazon, Twitter, and Live Nation. Those were the 4 holdings that Mark Cuban talks about in public interviews that he currently owns in his growth stock portfolio. He is a billionaire worth over $4.5 billion, owner of the Dallas Mavericks, famous investor on Shark Tank, and overall, a really good and funny dude. So let me know down in the comments what you think about those 4 stocks in Cuban's portfolio. Do you own any of them? Will you buy any of them? Share all your thoughts. Please hit that like button and subscribe, and I will see you in tomorrow's video.